To start off here, we're going to draw a line on their back. This is a foot plant. Red line is going to represent foot plant. Just going to look at the differences between them within their own swings, and then also comparing them to each other. Here we're going to go yellow for this next one. Just looking at the posture differences throughout the swing, what changes, what stays the same between themselves, and then also between each other. And then here we're going to look at the after swing. Like I've said, red is at foot plant. Yellow is when we have the most amount of impact coming to the front half. We're going to be weightless with our back foot. And we're going to go into a little bit more depth into the next here in a little bit what I mean by weightless on the back foot. Here we're going to look at the bat angle. What we're looking for is just the differences, the change from the angle throughout the swing. So right here, Tim Anderson 135, Pete's going to be 133, and we're going to look going from 135, let's see, to contact. Tim's bat goes from 135 and goes to, let's see here, 120, 119, so that's a 16-degree difference. Pete's here is going to go from 133 to 122. That's an 11-degree difference. And then, let's see here. Where did they finish out? 120. So very similar to where he was at a contact. So the bat stayed on plane throughout that. Let's see here. Pete's is going to be a little bit higher there. We're going to see Pete's his angle increase throughout his swing. We can see the tilt change throughout his swing. But we're gonna look here. Pete going from 133, 122, 162, then Tim Anderson going 135 to 119 to 120. Clearing that, we're gonna take a look here. Shoulder plane and bat plane. So Tim Anderson at contact is at a 124 bat plane, and it's looking like about from earlier we saw 119, 122 here, and then Pete is going to be at 128 with his shoulder plane at contact, and his swing plane is going to be 120. So very close. Two different pitch types. One's a fastball up and away. One's looking like a fastball straight down the middle. Pete's swing, this is on a 3-0 count, so he is hunting dead red. These are both four-seam fastballs from a right-handed pitcher for both of these guys that we're seeing here. Just how I like to point out how well they stay on plane, and watch their bats here. Their bats are actually going to catch the shoulder plane as they're going into their swing. So what we're seeing here is the shoulder plane and bat plane are going to be mirrored a lot. And here we're just going to look at the after swing where their bat's at. Moving on, we're going to take the body into two. We have our upper half and then we have our lower half. What we'd like to see is that the lower half is going to rotate a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker before the upper half, and the lower half is going to bring the upper half through the swing. So as we're seeing here, we're seeing their front thighs start to turn. Essentially, the swing is just facing the third base dugout and then switching and facing the pitcher. How quickly can you do that while hitting the ball? Putting a line around their body, I want to just look how well they stay within these lines. And we're going to start to notice one thing gets thrown around, and that's the hands and then the barrel. Okay, the hands are going to stay close to the body, but the barrel is going to come swinging out. And I'm going to block out their bodies here so we can just kind of see what this action looks like. Is throughout the swing, the bat's going to be hidden, the hands are going to be hidden, but then hips have rotated, our lower half is snapped. Then we're just going to see the bat coming around and demolishing this baseball. Here we are going to look at the front foot and just seeing how that's getting down at a nice 45-degree angle or close to. I'm going to check out the bat here and then our lower half. So once the foot gets planted, Then we have the lower half start rotating, and then we have that bat coming straight off that shoulder plane, making contact. This is a very forceful, quick, violent move, but they're controlled. It's a controlled move, but still violent. It's another look at the shoulder plane and bat plane and how similar these are going to be. Hips. The hips are going to mirror that angle of the shoulder and the bat plane a lot. Alright, here we're going to draw a nice little line on the back side of the butt, top of the head. What we're going to like to see here is growth with the backside. So, and it's going to help us stay below that line on the top. So Pete has a high slugging percentage, as we all know, had a lot of home runs last year as a rookie, which is absolutely incredible. And he's staying under that line, and he's actually increasing that line. So we see him dip below that headline more and more throughout the swing, while Tim Anderson actually rises above it. And here we're seeing Pete have a little bit more of a body tilt, and Tim not as much. This is going to be because of the pitch angle, but then also just from the type of hitters that they are. Alonso is going to be a guy that puts the ball in the air more. That's why his slugging percentage is higher. Tim Anderson is a gentleman that hit a lot of singles, has a high batting average. He put the ball on the ground a little bit more than Pete, which is why I believe his head is rising above this line, while Pete's is actually going below the line. Here we're going to move on. We're going to draw a line. This is the spine angle that once their foot plants, they stay within. This is their spine coming out of their head, coming out of the butt. There's a nice little metal rod, and we're going to stay, and their body's going to rotate around this line. This is their spine angle, and that's where they're going to stay. The bat is going to roam around almost like a 90-degree angle around this angle, and it's going to stay there the entire swing. Here we're going to take a nice little look at the back leg, and I've made reference to what a weightless back foot looks like, and to me this is what it is. We're going to see at some point that their back foot come off of the ground, and it's going to stay in the same spot for multiple frames. This is because the back has already transferred its weight, so the lower half has essentially done its deal. It's done its gig, and that's why we're seeing it. Their right leg stay in the same frame for at least 3 of the frames, is because that done its thing. So it's going to stay in the same spot while everything else keeps rotating around that spine. Hey everybody, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below saying see you tomorrow. Let's see who the real ones are and made it to the end of the video.